The 2007-2008 process has been raised, and the Commission has been asked whether we will go back that far. And our response to that is there was already a process, the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation process, that concluded in 2012, that captured all the historical injustices up to 2012. And it also provided a list of victims who are to be compensated. It provided list of violations that had taken place at post-independence that is already with the government. So we are not going to duplicate that particular process. There's already a process, and it's up to the executive to prioritize which victims they would want to compensate. As it appears right now, the priority is victims of protests. So the Commission will also prioritize the victims of protests, but will ensure that within the reparations framework, we ensure, we provide that there are other victims who the government need to put in place mechanisms to compensate or to reparate, depending on the historical or human rights violation that took place. So that's how we are going forward in terms of the issues around reparations and compensation. So the other issue that has also been included in the recommendations from the Point Agenda Committee is on the issues of assemblies. And that is Article 37 of the Constitution, and has been said that demonstrations and assemblies only become problematic when it has to do with politics. We've seen teachers, we've seen doctors, we've seen even members of the law society protesting, and it's a peaceful protest. So one of the conversations we want to bring out here is, why is it a big issue when it's a protest that has to do with politics? And part of the work that we want to do is to provide guidance on what the legislative framework needs to look like. And the Commission is already developing some standards in terms of how protests should look like. And we've looked at other jurisdictions on what they do. And there are very many standards that we can adopt in Kenya to ensure that protests are done within the confines of the Constitution, and protesters are able to pass their messages through protests and through demonstrations. And one of the issues that has come up that we need to ideally address is whether we need to develop parameters for demonstrations in terms of time within which people can demonstrate, in terms of places where people can demonstrate, in terms of where demonstrators should ideally not go to. And this is not a new thing. If you go to other jurisdictions, and I'll give you an example of some of the countries within the Western world, they have such parameters. So it's not a new thing. They have parameters of timing, they have parameters of where you can demonstrate, but they also have parameters of ensuring that there's liaison between police, who are meant to provide services to the protesters, but also the protesters themselves, to ensure that the purpose for the protest is achieved within the particular parameters that we are hoping to develop and submit for passage into legislation. So those are the two key issues that we have discussed today with the committee. The Commission is making good progress towards working on these two issues, and hopefully before the end of this financial year we will have these documents submitted for passage into law and for implementation by the various stakeholders.
Yeah, perhaps one thing that we may have left out is that the Commission and the committee is really requesting that the compensation process should not be infiltrated by politicians, or we are urging against political interference in the compensation process, so that victims get to have closure once this process is done.
Thank you very much.
Sijui kama nataka tuongee kwa Kiswahili pia?
Yes.
Okay. Asanteni sana. Na leo tumekuwa na mkutano na the 10-point agenda implementation committee. Walikuwa wakuje submit the recommendations ile walikuwa already wamefanya na wakasubmit tarehe 10 mwezi huu. So kulikuwa na mambo mbili commission ilikuwa iangalie. Ya kwanza ni mambo ya maandamano na ya pili ilikuwa mambo ya compensation kwa wale ambao walidhulumiwa katika mambo ya protest na assemblies. Na vile kama tumesema hapo awali, commission ilipatiwa kazi ya kudevelop ya kutengeneza framework ya compensate victims of protests, na tumeweka mkakati ya kuensure kwamba commission imeanza hiyo kazi ya kutengeneza hiyo framework ambayo ita guide hiyo process ya compensation and reparations. Na kusema kwamba commission tayari huwa ina collect details za watu ambao wamedhulumiwa. Kwa hivyo sio kitu geni kwetu, ni kitu ambao tumekuwa tukifanya tangu commission ikuwe constituted. So kile ambacho tunangojea sasa ni list ya watu ambayo hawakuwa wamereport pahali popote, citizens na NGOs na civil society organizations ambao wako na list ya watu ambao walidhulumiwa 2017, 2024, 2025. Tunaomba kwamba mlete hiyo information ili tuweze kuverify, alafu tuwaweke katika list ambayo already tuko nayo, ndio wakati tutakuwa tuna submit hiyo list, wale tumeverify watakuwa compensated na watakuwa taken into account katika reparations ambayo serikali itakuwa inafanya. Na tumesema kwamba tena kwa wakati huu kwa supplementary budget serikali ilikuwa imeweka 2 billion kucompensate hawa watu ambao tutakuwa tunapeana list. Na tumesema kwamba wakati huu hatuwezi kusema kwa kweli kama 2 billion itakuwa sufficient ama itakuwa imetoshea kucompensate kila mtu. Wakati tutamaliza kutengeneza hiyo list na tujue share, tutamake recommendations ndio government iconsider katika financial year 2026 2027 ikuwe katika budget ndio iweze wale ambao watakuwa hawajakuwa compensated.